Broadcasting live from upstate New York, a technology talk show that puts you and your questions first. It's Tech Talk Live.
Yeah, baby, it's Tech Talk Live, coming to you live from upstate New York. I'm Clipper.
I'm Snyde.
And JJ's over at the Fire Prevention Week this week.
Training.
Yeah, well, no, it's not training. It's Fire Prevention Week. Waterloo Firehouse is putting it on up in Waterloo, New York. So if you want to go check out JJ or go see JJ, he's over there.
Oh, yeah. ITT has got their open house, so you can go get a meal there if you want.
Oh, you can?
Yeah,
Oh, very nice.
Out in front as I come down because the other street was blocked off.
Right? Let's see if I have the right cameras. Yes, I do. Hey, look at that.
Oh, you got my beautiful voice or face?
Face. Yes, I got your face.
Facebook. That's what it is.
Right.
So,
welcome to Facebook.
Anyway, welcome to the show.
Right.
Like I said, it's for you people. It would sure as heck help us out if you'd call us in.
We love computer questions or technology questions.
I get them all the time, and I keep telling the people,
Call
the show.
Right.
Call in. It would help. Email us. Do we got any emails? That would help us.
We got one, though. We do have one. We got a question from Burl up in Waterloo, so we'll get to that sometime during the show here.
All right. I put on the show that I was going to talk about a little bit about Windows 9.
IE9.
IE9, okay.
Yep, and Windows 8. Yes.
And I'm on IE9 and didn't realize it.
Right.
But here's the other little stipend. It's called Windows 10 now. You can get the beta version. IE10.
Oh, IE10.
Did I say Windows?
Yes, you said Windows.
Sorry, that's confusing.
Well, yeah, very confusing.
IE10 beta version, now you can download that.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know how good that's going to be, but I'm not having difficulty with IE9. It's just some of the features, it doesn't seem like I got them for some reason. They're there, but it doesn't seem like I've got them.
Right.
There goes my camera.
There goes your camera again. Oscar just wants to be on camera. It doesn't matter what we do.
So,
and of course, I'm off camera because I'm trying to fix my.
So
there we go.
Anyway, the IE9, which has its features, which I didn't really notice any big change in them since I've been using it.
What, IE9?
Yeah, IE9
versus 8. There's not that much change in IE9 versus IE8. I mean, it's pretty much the same
format.
Right. The big improvement that I think is over IE9 is the fact that you get HTML5, so more dynamic page content, more dynamic. Just in general, it's going to support the more standard that everybody's trying to go to.
It's like back when music was played, and then all of a sudden it come into hi-fi. You can't tell the difference between it. It's very, very subtle change.
Right.
And then it goes on from there. You know what I mean? And from that. But like I said, the difference between 8 and 9 is very, very subtle, unless you're really looking for it.
Well, security features, I'm sure that's
security
big.
Was one.
Yep, is a big issue with IE9. If I remember correctly, the compatibility mode in IE9 was supposed to be automatic. It was supposed to automatically detect tags and programming for web pages that were not quite up to the snuff for IE9, so it would automatically scroll it back.
The other was speed. I didn't notice it was maybe just a subtle speed
increase or something. Yeah.
Right, but if your internet doesn't support it, how are you going to know if you got speed?
Right.
It's just like I'm not knocking Time Warner or any of that, Roadrunner. They come out with this turbo, which are supposed to be much faster than standard, which I haven't really noticed that much difference because I'm still on the standard. I haven't run the turbo. I haven't used the turbo. I haven't got it. To pay for it, am I going to see that much difference?
Well,
I'm not using that high volume.
We've got turbo here.
Yeah.
Okay, and mostly because of the show. We needed the extra upload bandwidth in order to actually publish the show via video. and get it out there fast enough so that we could have it in high enough quality so that everything would get, everybody could see us and it wasn't pixelated. It looked like it was fairly well produced. Okay?
Well,
so
you can't produce this face.
we can Photoshop it.
Yeah. Behind bars.
We can make that happen too, Dad.
Yeah.
So speaking of Time Warner, and speed, that turbo thing, yes, I see it's not going to be like night and day. I don't care who you are. There is no such thing as night and day anymore because we're so fast as it is. The human perception of something being this versus that in the data world, there is no such thing as night and day. You're just like, oh, look, that moved a little faster.
Okay. Now, HD. Did you ever see a difference in HD from digital?
Yes.
It's
minute.
Subtle.
Yeah, subtle. But yes, there's definitely from digital to the actual HD. There's a subtle difference. But if you go back to a DVD, the standard format,
Windows 95 up to now, you'll see a big difference.
You see a huge difference, right? So it's all about perception and your perspective on where you are in the timeline, really.
But you keep upgrading these things time after time, which you just see the little bit of increase. You don't really notice it.
Yeah, you turn the knob just a little bit. Oh, look, we really need to fix this. Let's come out with IE10, and then. Well,
you remember back when we were testing systems when we were doing the regular show.
Oh, the radio show.
Radio show.
Yeah.
And, which we're on a radio type show now, which is still a call-in, which we'd love to have you call in.
So give us a call, 315-220-0692.
Email us.
Or at Tech Talk Live.
Tech Talk Live,
NY at gmail.com. At Tech Talk Live, NY at gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook. Like us.
But anyway, like I say, give us those questions. We talk about anything and everything. Just because we're talking about technology and computers and Windows,
look, we got a call. I love it. First name, where are you calling from? You're live on the air with Tech Talk Live.
Did you go off the air?
No, we're on the air.
Because ours keeps coming up some race show or something.
Some ratio?
Race, RACE.
Oh, a race. On the live feed?
Yeah.
Wow,
comes up a Rotel, like a advertisement, and then it shows three guys standing there talking about a race.
Huh.
Okay, I'm going in.
Well, it might be, they were supposed to be doing some type of 31st lap show, and they were supposed to get off at 11 o'clock. So they might still be... What's that?
You were on.
All right.
And then all of a sudden it clicked off, and on came this other thing.
Oh, that's weird.
Okay, I'm down here to Tech Talk Live now on Finger Lakes 1.
But are we live?
Yeah, no, we're on Gander Mountain 150 race.
Ah, yes, Gander Mountain. Yeah, they must have kicked us off and ended up doing that instead, I guess. So, but we're gonna finish the show anyhow. We're still recording it. We're still gonna rebroadcast it. So, do you have a question or anything?
My question is, on my laptop, I'll be typing along, and then all of a sudden, the cursor will go in between another word, on a different. How do you stop that? And when I print, it prints out a blank page, and then it'll print the document, and then another blank page. And how do you stop that?
Okay.
So those are my two questions.
Okay. We'll leave you right on the air here or on the phone, and we'll answer it, and then we'll go back to the show. Okay, so the first one was laptop. You're basically saying you're working in Facebook or you're working in another website.
Microsoft website, anything. I'm typing.
Okay.
I'm just typing along, say I'm doing a word processor.
And then all of a sudden the cursor jumps someplace else.
Right.
Okay. Are you using a touchpad?
There is a touchpad and there's a mouse connected.
Okay, and the touchpad is still active?
Yeah, but I don't know how to inactivate it. I've tried.
Okay.
Doing F function, 6, whatever.
It's probably, most likely it's your palm or your thumb or something as you're typing. Most people rest their hands on the bottom of the laptop and it'll just touch that touchpad just a little bit and it'll think you're tapping someplace. To test that theory, on your laptop, you're going to look for an FN key, Frank Nancy, and then you're looking for, on the F keys across the top, there's little symbols. You're looking for one that looks like a square with 2 little squares below it, something of that nature, usually right around F9.
F9?
Yep. Or it might say T-pad. It might actually spell it out. It might say T-pad if the keys are big enough.
But you got to hold the function key and put that key at the same time in order to...
Right, so you hold the function key and then you hit that, and then that'll disable your touchpad. Then you could just use your mouse.
A little something will come up on the screen to say it's disabled.
Right, and then that way when you're typing, you're not accidentally just popping over to someplace else. Now, if that doesn't take care of it, most likely you got some piece of software, so I would check your tray down by the time and see what you got running and just disable one thing at a time until you get to a certain point and it stops.
Okay.
That's usually a good indication there. As far as the blank page and the extra blank page, before and after a print job, it's not in between each individual page, right?
No.
It's just at the beginning and at the end, right?
Yes.
Okay. 2 things to try. First thing to try would be to take and update the printer driver. So find out what your manufacturer is and model number. Pardon me. Go out to that manufacturer's website, go to the support area. You're going to find something that says support and downloads or download drivers, and you'll have a little search box, and you put in your model number, go find it. You're going to probably look for either a PCL or a PS driver. I usually like using the PS driver or PostScript driver because it seems to be a little bit more compatible. And then I would download that and install it, and then make sure that it updates your printer driver. Which is pretty easy. You just go under your printer properties and then say update printer driver and then tell it where you downloaded it.
Can you do that? Can you do that on a network printer?
Yes. Same. Okay. Yeah, it works with any printer. The software driver has to be on every computer on the network in order to make that work. So whether it's networked or USB, or LPT, the driver can always be updated because there's always something that might be changed, maybe some little function like this situation. So that would be the first thing. I would say update your driver. Second thing, I would go into your printer preferences and make sure under the finishing tab, you might have to go into printer preferences, then printing preferences. There's 2 buttons in there. But someplace under there's a finishing tab, and under the finishing tab, you can have give me a page ahead, give me a page after, a page separator sometimes is there, and just check and see if somebody turned that on you and just turn it off.
Okay.
Now, if you can't remember all this stuff, when we leave the show, after the show is done, it's uploaded, and then you can click on the show and review what we've already told you.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
That's if you can't remember.
Yeah. All right. Good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
And thanks for calling.
All right. Do you have another direct line feed other than just the one on Finger Lakes 1?
Not direct live feed. Nope. This is the only one that we have right now.
That's the only one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And you're listening to Tech Talk Live with your host.
I'm Flipper.
And your co-host, I'm Snide.
Yep, and JJ's out this week. He's over at Waterloo Firehouse up in Waterloo, New York. He's doing Fire Prevention Week for his day job.
Are they having hamburgers and hot dogs up there?
I have no idea. All I know is I had to work for JJ.
You had to work for him.
Oh, yeah, he needed some help getting some stuff done. So he enlisted my services to do a banner and a video to play in the background of some fire prevention stuff and some of the stuff that he does.
Oh, on his laptop or something?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well,
or it goes
our laptop, yes.
But anyway, like I say, if you got a question about technology or talking about what we're talking about, or you got a problem, which was just stated here a minute ago about printers and stuff, give us a call at 1-315-220-0692, or
you can email us at techtalkliveny@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook. Like us.
yeah. And we're getting back to the old thing of IE9, which we were talking about and discussing, that there's subtle differences between 7, 8, and then you go to 9. But if you're on 7
And you look
go
at
to
9, you see a big difference.
Not a big, but pretty close to being a huge difference, right?
I wouldn't say huge, but I mean, just saying, you can see the difference.
Right,
From
you can
8 to 9, a lot of people can't tell that they've gone from 8 to 9. That's
Right.
the whole thing, you know? And like you were saying, what was some of the other things that they enhanced with 9? You had the whole write-up there, right?
I got out of it. I got out of it now.
Oh, that's all good.
But,
well, we can just
no.
discuss it. I mean,
But
well, you want to talk a little bit about Windows 8?
Windows 8, well, I was just finishing up with the IE9, which is getting back to it, that now all of a sudden they're coming out with IE10,
The beta
version. Now you can download that if you go to
well, you know why that was, right?
Pardon?
You know why that was, right?
Something about, was it a security breach or
Yes.
something that they had to do and upgrade that? I forget now when I read the article, and then I was reading
IE9 had such a big security hole in it, but they kept it hush-hush. So it was very surprising to see IE9 come out, and then very quickly the IE10 beta come out right after it.
Right.
So they finally released that there's this, and I forget what the 3 points were, but they were really big security risks. It would let web page designers actually. There was one risk where if they did a certain .NET injection attack, it would actually install a virus or a worm or a malicious program onto your computer without you ever hitting OK or anything. It just bang, it's there.
Well, it's like some of the emails. If you open them up and you click on the link and go to that link,
but
that's the same thing.
Yeah, but you had to click on the link. This is where you just visit the site and it's like bang, and it's on your computer.
You don't need to do that.
I had I was repairing 3 computers the other day, and all 3 of them had the same exact identical problem. They had gone someplace that they shouldn't have, and they got it. And they said there was no pop-up, there was no yes, no, okay, no ad, no nothing. It just all of a sudden this appeared on my desktop.
But we don't even consider the monkey bee virus anymore, do we? Remember that one?
Oh dear God, that
that was terrible when we got that.
Well, if you remember correctly,
master boot record it read right to an
right, the monkey bee. That was an old time. You don't see those anymore because most of the boot records now, most of the boot sector viruses don't exist because they're not after destroying your computer anymore necessarily. In that respect, they want you to use your computer and get your passwords and your credit cards.
Right.
So speaking of that, nice segue into one of the news articles out there this morning was big scam, tech support scam and bank account scam now going to be hitting somewhere around November-ish, maybe Christmas time, where these tech support fake tech support programs are going to try to capture your data as you think that you're getting support on something so that they can get your bank account number and then become you. The British, what's the British organization? Is it the FTC? FTC, I think, is what it is going to crack down on it before it gets any further. It's almost like the FBI thing with the DNS injection thing there, the DNS changer.
Right.
Yeah. FTC's taken a very proactive role in trying to stop this one.
They're making believe that they're the bank, and when you click on their link, they are in your computer.
Right, for support.
Right. Mm-hmm. So now all of a sudden you got these people that are, every time you go to your bank site, they got your email and your... Or not your email.
Username and password.
Username and password. That's what I should start to say.
And then they can manage that account any way they want. They can make a false bill or a false transaction and send it right over to wherever they want to, and nothing you can do.
And it's transferred from yours to theirs. And the only thing you can do is shut that bank account down immediately and change your password or whatever, set up a new one.
Right.
And notify the bank that this has transpired.
Right. But still at the same time, the problem is that you can't be afraid of it, but you should just be aware of it. It's just like cancers. It's just like heart problems. It's just like anything else in this world. And you know, people always poo-poo the technology industry. You know, oh, I don't need to worry about that. They got it. You know, and then people wonder why they're getting hacked, why they're getting, identity fraud. You know, and everybody's like, I love this. I love this thought process, which irritates the heck out of me. It just won't happen to me. And then all of a sudden it does happen to you, and you have no idea what steps to take or how to take it. And you're like, oh my God, this should never happen. Oh my God, now it's too late to worry about it. You know?
Right. They already ripped you off for a couple of $1,000
or whatever. Yep. So, you know, and that's one of the things that irritates me about the human element of technology is that, you know, granted, it's not life or death per se. It could be, but I mean, it probably isn't. I mean, technology is technology.
Devastating to the person that it happened to.
But it can be very devastating. Very, very devastating.
Oh, I had that money to pay my bills. Now I'm behind. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh my God, I can't pay my house this month.
Okay. You know, they had fraudulent credit cards. Now is the bank's going to stick behind this fraudulent stuff like that?
What do you mean?
You know, like fraudulent bank credit cards, you know, transaction of fraud.
Right.
You know.
Are they going to continue to go after it, is what you're asking? Yeah, I believe they would. I mean, why wouldn't they? The problem comes down to
security.
Right. The problem with the banks, though, come down to is how much does it cost for them to go after how much money? Okay.
Right.
When it costs more to go after $10,000 than it is just to fire the person or have them arrested and just walk away from it.
Right.
It's actually sometimes cheaper in the grand scheme of things. Depends on how big you are, you know.
But getting back to IE9 has got a security system on it which doesn't allow a lot of stuff, but it still could slip through.
Absolutely.
You know,
I still like Firefox. I mean, they've had a few bugs in this time, but still they seem to be right on top of it. The new version 3.6 or 3.8, I forget what one.
I forget now which one downloaded the other day on me.
Yeah, so I mean, they keep updating it properly. The only big problem with Firefox is the add-ons module.
Yeah, I hate them.
If you allow any add-ons onto Firefox, it opens the door to everything, and that's the downfall to Firefox is right there.
Yeah, but even though we're on top of it, you allow these add-ons, and I don't allow any add-ons to anything in my computer.
Right. But here's a stupid question. You know, I mean, with web browsers and web technology, where do you go, or how do you protect yourself against the invisible? You know, you don't know that you're going to that site is going to give you that. You don't know that this toolbar that you download because you thought it was cute, you know, is got something in the background. How do you figure that out? And the big thing comes down to just don't do it. You know. Well,
I get ones that are automatically loaded up. You know.
Right.
You don't even see the page, and then all of a sudden this toolbar is up, and now you got a small screen about that much of your screen because it's moved it all down with 6 toolbars.
Right.
So what do? You got to go up in there and start closing them toolbars out, and then you got to go and take them programs off your hard drive.
Right. Start with, under tools and options or tools and add-ins, depending on which browser you're in.
Well,
go under your add-ins thing and say, okay, I don't need this toolbar, which is usually just an add-in. I don't need that one, blah, 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 blah. Like the Google toolbar has been hacked so many times.
It doesn't matter whether it's Google, Yahoo, or whatever.
Well, I'm just saying, Google toolbar has been hacked so many times that it's kind of become almost religious to sit here and go, well, the Google toolbar is probably not a good thing on your computer. You know, as much as I did like the Google toolbar and it had some good features, a lot of those features aren't needed anymore. Like the pop-up blocker, IE8, Firefox, Chrome, all of them actually do pop-up blocking, and they do it fairly well.
And all you got to do is go in and click on it and tell them you don't want them.
Right.
I still get a few pop-ups, but that isn't too bad.
Right.
But then again, getting back to security, you know what I mean, and we're talking about IE9 with the protection that you got, you still have to be aware of this stuff. Toolbars, I despise them in the worst way because you got to download this, but you also got to have that toolbar.
Right.
No, you don't. Get rid of it. But what I tried to tell you was, you go into your computer, go into my computer or whatever it is, computer, and you go up there and you say add and remove programs, software.
Right.
Now you go down through and you find out that you got Yahoo toolbar, Google toolbar.
Whatever.
You got all these toolbars.
Yep.
And start eliminate them. But the next thing is, you got to go into regedit to really get rid of them.
It depends.
Well, it's usually that automatically load up the next time you fire.
Well, that's if you don't remove them from the actual computer. I mean, if you do the add and remove programs, typically speaking, they're out if they're standard toolbars. If they're not standard toolbars and they're a virus or they're some type of malware or
like
something.
Like WeatherBug used to be, and
WeatherBug's gotten a lot better. But the AccuWeather,
Uzu or something is another one that's bad.
Hulu, the Hulu bar.
OOZOO.
Ozo, whatever. Uzo. Yeah, I saw that the other day.
And that's another one that's if you don't go into regedit, you can't get rid of it.
Right.
You can think, well, I deleted it, but it keeps coming back.
Yep.
Well, because it's every time you fire up the program, it reinstalls itself.
Yep.
That's you got to go in there and get rid of everything.
Hi.
Well, what do you think? We on break now or what?
Yeah, we should probably go to break. So, anyway, you're listening to Tech Talk Live. I'm Flipper.
I'm Snide.
And we're on every Saturday morning, 11 to 12. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
Sights to see on the internet, but for everything local, there's one place you can get it at FingerLakes1.com. Come on over to FingerLakes1.com. Make us your homepage. News, weather, sports, and fun. Log on to Finger Lakes One.
www.fingerlakes1.com.
You're listening to Free Music by Dano. Download free MP3s at danosongs.com.
You're listening to Tech Talk Live with your host and me as Knight, as a co-host, and old Flipper's over there with his mouth full chewing away. So I guess we're not on the live feed yet.
No, we're not on the live feed yet, but evidently, we got kicked off or pushed off by one of the other shows that were doing the 31st lap's doing some special thing on the Glenora races down at Watkins Glen, I'm assuming. So they probably kicked in right about 11:15 or 11:05 or something and kicked us off the stream, and I can't kick us back on. But the show's recorded, so
you can download it later and on a podcast or whatever.
Absolutely. So anyway, we got lots to talk about. I mean, I got some more stuff to talk about. We have a question from an email listener, good old Burl from Waterloo.
Burrell.
Yeah, so this is going to get kind of controversial, just because I know how we all feel about different things out there, such as Time Warner, you know. So,
furnace is running.
Yeah, the furnace is. Yeah, that's the only problem down here is the furnace is right there.
Or
your CD-ROM is run, right? Yep.
I don't do that anymore because it causes blue screen of death when I fired it up. Right. But anyway, going to Burl.
Burl writes, with Time Warner charging for the new modems now, I would like to know what your take is on modem router combinations. I like the the one that they found on Walmart.com, Netgear N150 wireless ADSL plus modem router. I know that I would have to care for the maintenance on it, and Time Warner would have to say it was or was not compatible to their system. Will this help with speed buffering problems? I Skype, so will this help with that also? So there you go. I will listen to you Saturday to hear your input. Well, you're not listening to us Saturday because we're off the air right this second for some reason.
Okay, the input on it, Time Warner has about 8 different modems. The model numbers and so on. If you go to Time Warner site,
you got to go to this. You got to go to the support side.
There's also Motorola ones and Netgear, and there's about several different brands.
I don't think they support any of the Netgear ones. That's the one I didn't see on there.
I didn't see it either.
I saw Motorola and I saw the
Comcast one.
Comcast, yeah.
I'm thinking it's Comcast, but it might be something else. Something.
Right.
But the serial numbers, you have to write those serial numbers down, or model numbers. All right, as far as being what they want for, not to knock Time Warner, but they're trying to get out of that maintenance of in-home use. Like Telephone did, you buy your own phones, you install your own phones, they're only responsible to come into the edge of the house, period.
I don't know if that's really their intent. I think they're finding that with today's economy, it's becoming increasingly more expensive to try to do that without getting some type of fee directly associated with the modem.
But anyway,
$4 a month. That's basically what we're talking about.
$4.95, which is $5 or
I thought it was $3.95 was the last time I looked.
Well, maybe $40 a year. Well,
So
$48 a year. Sorry,
$50 a year. $50 a year for them to give you a modem, and they manage it, versus you buying a $150 modem router combination.
Well, some of them were only $78 or something like that.
Well, the cheapest one I saw was $89, but
I thought it was $79. Maybe
I was just going out to Amazon looking at them,
Well,
but you know,
I wanted to either go to Staples or Office Max or one of them other ones to pick one up.
going to be tough because not all of them are there, but
Yeah.
yeah, I went to, like I said, I just went out to Amazon just to see what the prices were, and then pretty much found out that saying you get the turbo one that you can do the
Right.
the DOCSIS 3, the DOCSIS 3
Right.
standard.
You need that.
That's $150. That's $150 for that particular modem router. Okay,
3 years paid for it, right?
so it'd be 3 years and it's paid for. Well, is the
How long?
return on investment that worth that? Considering that typical router typical standard modem router might not last that. You pay the $5 a month.
Or the turbo router, which is a better router.
Yep, a DOCSIS 3.
All right, now you put that in.
And that's 3 years. 3 years of not having that service fee.
How long has that router been in my house downstairs?
5 years, maybe
A
6 years.
little longer than that.
I thought we just replaced it not too long ago. Maybe a while ago, because you were having the same problem that a lot of people were having. They had the DOCSIS 1,
Yeah.
and they were going to the DOCSIS 2, and now the DOCSIS 3.
But
And
now you turn around and look at it. Are they going to the DOCSIS 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or what are they going to? You know, technology keeps upgrading. What do you pay for technology? You have to make that decision as what do I want? DOCSIS or the DOCSIS 3, the D3 is what the new format, and they're telling you if you're going with turbo, you got to have this certain router.
well, it's anything above turbo has to have this.
Right.
Yep.
So now that's going to be at least 3 years before something else comes along.
Right. Well, maybe not. I don't know. See, that's the problem. You don't know. The problem I have is okay, we get it. Saying we go and we say, okay, fine. Here's a compatible modem. I'm going to pay $100 for it. We'll just say $100 for it. Okay, and it's $3.95 for the modem or whatever. So $4. So $50 a year for Time Warner not to only provide you a modem, but will replace it for free if anything goes wrong.
Okay.
Versus you buy it and then, hey, maybe it works good for a long, long time.
How about if you got wireless through Time Warner? They charge you
Additional fees.
additional fees. I don't know how much that is, but do you feel that the wireless fees are worth what you got and maintain?
It depends on who you are. I
It's
mean,
like I said, I had
if-
Linksys for a long time.
Yeah.
And finally the modem just gave out.
the wireless.
Wireless.
Yep.
So I had to go replace that at a tune of $89 or
Whatever it was, yep.
Whatever it was, almost under 100.
But it just depends on who you are. I mean, like, if you have a 70, 80-year-old grandma that's living by themselves and they just want basic internet, and you really don't want them to have to fuss around with technology, and maybe they don't have a son or daughter or a family member that can come down and help them put the modem in and make sure it's working and all that good stuff, blah, 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 I would leave it in Time Warner's hands. Me personally, this is me personally, I'm going to pay the $4 a month for the router and everything else because I know for a fact that that's number 2 router that I've had in this house since I've been here.
What if lightning strikes? You know what I mean? And you get a
They're going to get it.
on-
They're going to replace it.
They'll replace it. So you gotta weigh both
Right.
pros and cons. Buyer, beware.
Right. So now the question comes down to, well, geez, I could always buy the better modem now, and then if I decide to upgrade to the bigger service, I'll have it. But there again, now you have a device that's being used that's not up to that standard. You know, your service isn't up to that standard. So you're not exactly using it to its fullest potential, so you're not getting your money's worth out of it. Then all of a sudden you switch to the higher standard and you say, okay, I want to pay the extra dollars and get the 30 megabyte downloads and the 10 megabytes uploads or whatever it is. And you finally go to it and all of a sudden you find out, well, there's something wrong with the modem or the router, the modem, really. That's what we should call it, modem. So you find out there's something wrong with the modem. Well, you got to go out and buy another one.
Well, Time Warner will only walk you through a certain amount, and they'll tell you that your modem is bad. They can't go beyond that modem. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden they tell you, well, you got to unplug it for 10 seconds, plug it back in, and then, or they'll reset the modem there.
Right.
But if there's any other problems, it's up to you.
Right.
See?
So it's debatable on where you want to be. I mean, me personally, I have no real problem paying the $4 a month just to make sure that I have internet service. If it goes down today, I can call them up today and be like, how soon can you get somebody here with a new modem? And go through the whole diagnostic process.
Well, they do a lot of it right over the phone and right through the system, and they tell you where it is.
Right. So, now if you don't pay for that modem and or you pay for a modem all out front and it's your modem, they'll still do the diagnostic, but then it's going to open the door to say, well, it's really your modem.
It's your modem. Now you got to...
So now you go buy another modem, and you put another modem in, it doesn't fix the problem. You call them back. Now you've wasted $100, another $100, right?
Or 100.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So, now the question comes down to is, where do you go with that? I mean, a lot of people would say, well, we're just getting away from Time Warner. Well, that's great and all, but I haven't found many services, I mean, me personally, other than going with fiber or going with Fios from Verizon. I saw somebody, I was at somebody's house a couple weeks ago who had Fios, and they had the full 10 megabit. I think it was like 10 megabit up and then 20 or 30 down. I mean, it's really fast. It was super fast. $80 a month for that, but, by the end of the day,
Really that great?
It was fast. I mean, I could tell a difference, but I mean, those are your two top things right now.
Well, you remember when we did the comparison at the house, between the two, and the guy, the tech, come right there, and he just couldn't believe that
Time Warner was this fast and DSL was that slow.
Right,
and that was the big problem, and
he was doing all sorts of diagnostics on the lines and everything. But like I said, I found out here just not too long ago that my digital service, which had water in the line, I didn't know it got in the line, even though they were supposed to be rubberized grommet type connections. Water got in there, and Time Warner, I was so mad at Time Warner, I could have...
You could have spit.
Well, I could have dumped them all, you know what I mean? So anyway, they kept saying it wasn't my router, it wasn't this, wasn't that, wasn't the other, Next thing you know, we got a technician down. All of a sudden, he goes and opens that connection up. Got water in it.
Mm-hmm.
So now he cuts that piece out, puts a new line in, even though it's got a rubber grommet in there and a seal, they put silicone in there to stop the water from coming in.
Yep.
Now reconnect it, and then all of a sudden they found out that they're not supposed to do this, but anyway, down in the house or in the cellar, the guy that come in there the last time and put all this stuff in, shouldn't have done that. He should have done it this way.
Right.
So here they make all the corrections. Come to find out, the water had seeped from the outside
all the way on the inside.
All the way on the inside.
To probably your primary feeder cable, right?
So the primary feeder cable had to be replaced and all the crap that was attached to it and everything else. And then once they got all done,
you haven't had a lick of problem, right?
Not a lick of problem with everything. But here again, what if I had to pay that technician
$100 or $200?
$200 to come in and do that. Burl, that's your choice of what you want to do. You gotta weigh all aspects of it.
Right.
If we're not giving them to you, make sure you email us or tell us.
Well, one of the friends of the show here, Suzanne, she's a kind of a techie kind of person in a sense that she likes her. She does a blog and she does some Facebook stuff and she does a bunch of different stuff. So she definitely uses technology. It's not like she doesn't use technology. Like in her situation, she pays like I think $9.95 a month for both the wireless piece and the modem, so that she doesn't have to think about it at all. You know, if it goes down, hey, I'm calling them and they're going to fix it. You know, so I mean that versus you doing it all yourself. I mean, me being a tech and you being kind of techie, you know, we might look at it a little different and be like, hey, I can do it myself. You know, I can test coaxial lines. I can make sure my feet are aligned. I just can't get out on the pole. So as long as Time Warner continues to offer that service to the pole,
we can only test to a certain point. They got the equipment to tell you how much resistance. I'm talking
your
right
signal
down,
strength, yeah.
All this stuff that they need to do it just to push it a button, and they got the full screen of everything. And if this isn't up to par, they got to bring it up to par.
Yep.
You know, what do? Well, we got to change the resistor out in the pole to push more to you.
Right.
What I was saying is like me, I got secured wireless throughout the whole house.
And down and back.
Down and back, I mean, in our gazebo. So that I covered a pool area in the back part. I got it upstairs to cover anywhere, you know, it's up above the cupboard in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And I got the one in the cellar. But I don't know if the two in the gazebo and up above in the kitchen are end feed or not. Where the one in the cellar is end feed, now it comes up on my computer screen that's the one that this here computer goes to all the time.
Right.
So now my other question is...
Okay. I was wondering where you were going with it.
My other question is I'm putting in security cameras. And, all right, everybody says, do you need security camera? I'm tired of the BS going on around my place. In other words, he said, we didn't see it, and we got to, you know, we can't do anything, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's just like... next door, you know.
Yeah, you don't have to explain it. You just got to just say you have some issues and you need security cameras.
And like I said, I want to know what's going on around my place,
mm-hmm.
who's stealing what, you know. And now the police say, well, I can't do anything because I didn't see it. All right, they're going to be wireless. Now.
The main unit's wireless, but the cameras are cabled, correct?
Cameras are cabled to the main DVR.
Yep.
And then I want it wireless so that I can look on my computer,
mm-hmm.
laptop, and I can get it anywhere in the United States off my laptop or my cell phone.
Okay.
So now I got to make sure that this stuff is up and running. But where it's going to be is going to be in the garage, so now I got to get a little plastic container. Then I got to cut out the center of the square on top and put a screen in there with some glue of some sort, so that the bugs don't get in it.
Right.
You know, you don't want spiders.
But you want the airflow.
Airflow, you know, so it doesn't
mm-hmm.
overheat. You know,
yep.
You don't want to put anything like that in a closed container.
Right.
But also I got to be able to run the cables in there and make sure that's sealed up, you know,
right.
so that they can't get in there. But I got to have air circulating.
So speaking of being able to access it wherever in the world, because of it's not just the piece that makes the wireless piece that makes it that, you actually have to open up your main router to allow outside connections to hit that. So you're going to want to password protect it. Then you're going to want to open that router up and say, okay, port forward anything for my main IP address from here to that device. And then it'll automatically NAT and translate between the internet where you are and then your home here.
Well, it's like my printer. The same thing with my printer. I'm going wireless there. Did I have a password protected on that printer?
I think you're missing my point. If you're going to go wireless, that doesn't automatically push it out to the world. You have to open it in the router, right?
Okay.
Okay. What you're going to want to do is, because you opened it out to the internet, you're opening it to the internet, okay? Right. You're going to want to password protect any device that you open to the internet.
Right.
Your printer's not open to the internet. You didn't open it to the internet and say anybody from the internet can print to my printer, right? Right. So that's what I was getting at. Not that, you know, you needed a password.
Well, I was just wondering the two, because that's a wireless device and this is all. But the printer don't send to my laptop. The laptop sends to the printer.
Right.
The other device sends from the...
It'll be bi-directional.
There, and I can ask, I want to see or review.
Right. So that'll be bi-directional, absolutely.
There's a lot of things with the security camera stuff that I'm still learning, but there's a lot of questions to be asked. So as soon as I get the wires up and get that set up in the garage,
let me know.
Then we'll get because the cameras are already up. Nate did that last week.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the cameras are up. All I got to do is get it on and adjust the cameras to where
they're
I want
pointing.
them.
Yep.
So I'll be secured pretty much so on the whole front side of the
property. Yep.
All the property, not just one. It'll even get into your property too.
Oh, good.
Up there. So if you wanted to put another sign back out there,
right.
Now I can see who's doing what to what.
Right. So, but yeah, no, really by the end of the day, I mean, it's going to be one of those things where you have to open that device up to the internet if you want to be able to look at it from anywhere in the world. If you don't care about looking at it from anywhere in the world, you don't have to do anything. Just hook it up, and then your laptop in your home, when you're hooked to your home network, you'd be able to see it.
Okay, that's the other thing too, is like I say. But the other one is that you could do it from your cell phone.
Yep.
Anywhere.
That's if you open it up to the internet. Yep.
Right. So they probably answered a couple of questions to some of the people who would be curious about that too.
Yeah. So thanks, Burl, for the question. If we have any contests coming up, I'll put you and Nancy in for the drawing.
Well, I don't think it'll be this month, but it may be next month or for.
Well, we should do something for Thanksgiving. The whole November month. I mean,
maybe I'll get them a gift certificate for a turkey at Tops or something.
Maybe we'll do that. That'd be weird.
I'm just saying.
Totally weird technology, not technology giveaway.
Well, it's technology because you get a frozen bird.
Is that what it is?
Might get your Christmas goose next month.
Right.
Don't go there.
Speaking about cooking gooses, HP is kind of reliant on the whole Windows 8 coming out on October 15th. Their fourth quarter and first quarter estimates for next year, they've upgraded and said, well, we're not going to make as much to their investors and stuff, and it looks like the company might be in a little bit of trouble, according to several financial analysts.
Right, I read that. Is HP in trouble now?
Right.
And I didn't mark I didn't bookmark the article, and I should have.
Right.
Is HP in trouble now? And I couldn't figure out what it was, and then I read part of the article, and then it said, like you were saying, about the investors and
yep.
Windows 8.
They're really relying on Windows 8 doing their thing. So Windows 8 is supposed to come out on October 15th. They don't think that that's going to boost the sales enough to bring them back up to where their original estimates were. Really, it's going to be a bad thing. I think
that was the other thing I was going to bring up about Windows 8 was the release date, and since you've already...
October 15th.
October 15th.
Windows 8. It's going to be the whole Metro style, I swear. It's kind of gotten weird,
So now your laptop, instead of a mouse, you can touch screen and whatever.
Well, once you get a touch screen, yes. But, the other thing is instead of having a real desktop, you can get back to the real desktop, but it gives you that Metro interface, which is... large panels of things that you use normally, like saying you're usually on Facebook, you click on Facebook and go, and it's a big square right on the screen. You want to watch Tech Talk Live, maybe we become a link on that first page, boom, you go to watch Tech Talk Live, and that Metro interface is kind of neat, but a lot of techs that I've talked to can't stand it, especially the people that have tried it in beta. I looked at the demo and I wasn't happy with it. I'm, you know me. I like straightforward. I don't like making things pretty and then not functional. If it stops functioning because it's pretty. Oh, look how pretty it is. It looks good. Good example of that. I just got an iMac. I got an iMac upstairs. Okay, I'm gonna go off because Judy, I love you, dear. I really do. I'm bringing it back to you. I'm gonna say take it to somebody else because I can't do it. I finally met a computer.
Discuss that. Right?
I finally found a computer I can't work on. Okay? I finally found one. It's the iMac G series, okay? They made 5 different versions of this thing that open so many different ways that you don't know where anything is put. So now let me describe what happened. I put this iMac down on the table. I unscrewed it as the instructions said. Now I got a suction cup with this thing, okay? And the whole thing was you're supposed to take the suction cup, put it on the screen, pull the screen out, right? Then disconnect it, and then you can get to the hard drive. That's not how this one's designed. There's no glass. You put the suction cup on, you pulled too hard, you're going to break that LCD screen because it's the actual LCD screen.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, fine, we'll deal with this, right? I was working on this last night until like 11 last night. I was so frustrated. So I get the screws undone, and it says, okay, you can pop the bezel off, the front,
right,
the front, because it's just one big monitor. That's all it is. It's just one big monitor, okay? So I'm like, okay, I'll snap the front bezel off. So I'm snapping the front bezel off, and it's not coming from the top. I go back. I can't find anything in the instructions to say you got to release anything. Finally, after 4 different websites, I finally found that certain G5s have a latch system up at the top of the bezel that keeps that top part of the bezel from moving. So you got to take 2 credit cards, okay, and shove them into a vent to pop this thing off.
Now they read your credit card and they got your number.
Right, I don't know, maybe, who knows?
Security card.
But anyway, you gotta play with this. It was like Mission Impossible, defusing a bomb. It was just that difficult. I was so frustrated last night. I was like, oh my God, if this was mine, it would be in the junk. And now you know why I can't stand anything with I in front of it, okay? I don't mind the devices. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people like them. I think they're okay. They have a good design interface. But man, as a tech, I do not want to work on another iMac ever again. I am just to that point. I mean, a hard drive that should take you maybe a half hour, an hour to put in, tops. And then you get inside. Now, here's how stupid this is. You get inside, everything is held on by tape and specialized security screws. The one with the little knobbies?
Yeah, the ones that
you can't buy.
Right, you can't get them out.
Right.
You can put them in, but you can't get them out.
Right. So I'm sitting there, I'm like looking, I'm going, oh, crud. So I'm like pulling the tape apart, trying to get the screen out, trying to do that. I finally gave up. I said, oh, this is ridiculous. I'm not doing this. I was so mad.
Jack, be nimble, fingers be quick. Jack jumped over the iPad stick.
Yeah, right? I'm sorry. I was so frustrated last night. I couldn't take it. I was about ready to... I got to tell you, I was so ready I mean, if it was mine, it would have been in the junk.
Technology has got so small.
But
we're into that throwaway society.
Well, no, I don't necessarily think that. I just think that, if you're going to make something, make it usable and make it repairable. I mean, If you can't make it repairable, and that's what this iMac is, it's not repairable. You have to tear the whole thing apart down to its bare nuts and bolts just to get to a hard drive.
How do you change a headlight? A headlight on a car. Here's technology.
Yeah.
The light, the little bezel, round rubber bezel comes off.
Yeah, it's 2 snaps.
It unplugs.
Yeah.
No, it's not 2 snaps. It's a round bezel that's snapped over a ring.
Right.
Well, you unpop that, but you got to plug the light.
Yeah.
Undo that. Then you got to take this wire and push down on it. And then guess what?
What?
You can't get in there unless you remove the battery. You got to take the battery out. On the other side, you got to take some part of the...
because engineering. People didn't... Yeah. That's the same thought process with this iMac. It's not engineered well for somebody to work on it. It's literally, you use it, you pay $1,500 for it, you use it, you throw it away.
Take it to a mechanic or somebody that knows what they're doing to put this in.
And they still can't do it.
I thought they were making these easy so that you could repair this stuff.
Yeah,
especially lights, and lights don't last forever.
Right. But look at like I said, you know me. I have no problem working on just about anything. Yeah. This is the first time I've ever gotten frustrated enough where I finally said I'm done.
But anyway, but like I say, this technology has gone a long ways.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you enjoyed the show, next week if you want to hear us more, give us a call 1-315-220-0692 or
give us an email at techtalkliveny@gmail.com. Hey, like us on Facebook.
Right, like everything on Facebook.
Well, on that note, we're out of here.
All right, we're going to see you next week. I hope you enjoyed the show.
been listening to your technology talk show. Tune in next time to Tech Talk Live.